The fear of death is everywhere, explicit and implicit, but when you see it up close, your relationship with it changes. It stops being an idea you'll deal with when you're older, and becomes a passenger beside you for the rest of the ride. When your entire family is taken in a global tragedy, by a malevolent force acting without reason, death stops being the fear that drives you. Revenge takes over. For Aki Hayakawa, never getting the chance to kill the gun devil is a fate worse than death. That is, until found family is forced into his apartment, and without realizing, his goals change. In the Chainsaw Man movie, this small and quiet moment in a raging typhoon of action is when Aki Hayakawa is reborn. A deep emotional turn that culminates from his slow realization that life is always best lived with others. Finding family again is never a lost cause. I'm Gyoza Godfather, and Aki saving Angel Devil from a windswept death is the moment he chose to stop avenging the dead at the expense of himself and start saving the living instead. This video is the third in my running series called Watch Chainsaw Man With Me, where I'll be talking about the anime, movies, and manga. I've got some major spoilers coming up for both the movie and the chapters that make up the rest of the public safety arc. Aki's family was killed by the gun devil in a global catastrophe, when the world was torn apart in an instant. Fujimoto gives numbers and later names. The tallies and lists are so big and long that it does what he intends, makes you numb, just like Aki is when we first meet him. He'd gone outside to play with his brother for the first time, a sickly boy who was the center of his parents' attention, much to Aki's annoyance. On a day where they found a bit of brotherly connection for the first time, having an impromptu snowball fight, his younger brother's hands got cold, so he went inside the house to get some gloves so they could keep warm and stay playing. On a bright winter day, a perfect blue sky, Aki waited outside for his little brother. In an instant, his home was obliterated. His family, gone. And worst of all, he should have been inside. Any other day he would have been inside, sulking while his parents doted on his feeble brother. It's a sad thing to lose people you love. It's an awful thing to lose them in an instant. It's an incomprehensible thing to know that you should have been lost too. Survivor's guilt doesn't begin to scratch the surface. His origin story is one of many visual clues to just how numb Aki is. When we meet him in the start of Chainsaw Man, he's a devil-hating hard-ass who does everything by the book, climbing the ranks as quickly as possible so he can avenge the dead. Devils and fiends are enemies, people are not. Anyone showing a shred of sympathy for the enemy, or treating them as anything other than animals to be put down, is someone who, in his eyes, misunderstands the world they live in. Aki repeatedly tells Denji and Power that he'll kill them if they just give him the chance by running away or joining the other side. Early on he repeats this threat, as if he expects to have to make good on it. But through Denji's eyes, it's a nag. Denji can't die, as far as he knows. And because Denji's our POV character, this hits the viewer as just Aki being a hardo. In his worldview, Power and Denji aren't people. They're wild dogs on a leash, tools to hunt bigger monsters. And he certainly doesn't see them as potential friends, not just because they're devils, but because friendship isn't a luxury he can afford. Himeno's his senpai, and that's it. This is Aki's internal world at the outset of the story. Fujimoto gives us bits and pieces of it from his actions and his words, but never gives us the internal point of view to confirm. I love that he keeps Aki at arm's length, because that's how Aki keeps everyone. While she has romantic feelings for him and dreams of living a quiet life together, that again is not a thought. He's not living a life to fulfill himself. His life is the act of letting go, literally giving pieces of himself away in exchange for a better chance, a clearer, faster path to kill the gun devil for his dead family. He's long since lost his desires for anything other than vengeance. And then he loses Himeno-senpai. He cries for her, like he cries for the death of all his partners. I think this is partly for the obvious, deeply suppressed grief of a boy who lost his family. But in practice, it's Aki's way of getting the grief out and moving on, as we see him back to the same business-first stoicism. Something again unexpected happens. Denji, without realizing it, offers to share the weight of that loss with him. In one of the funniest, most touching scenes of mourning I've ever laughed while crying over, Denji has beaten Katana Man. Knowing that killing him is out of the question, Denji decides to play one-way Rochambeau. And asked if he wants to have a contest to see who can make Katana Man scream loudest, Aki gives him a look. Again with this shit? His by-the-book side tells him no, he won't be participating. But then he pulls the cigarette that Himeno gave to him earlier. It says easy revenge. And in the first moment of opening himself up to sharing the weight of being with those who offer, Aki rolls up his sleeves and gets ready to win. The camera pulls back and we see a montage of shots. Arrested Yakuza, aboard Power, and the Angel Devil looking at the sun setting over the city. As we come back to Aki ringing the bell and Katana Man screaming in agony, Aki asks Senpai if she can hear this up in heaven. The camera tilts up to the same sky that Angel Devil was looking at earlier, and Aki tells Himeno, "We're playing a requiem for you." This scene of joyful torture shared with a colleague, maybe even a friend, is Aki's first step toward change. He's now sharing the burden of life with people closest to him and finding some catharsis in it. Aki steps to his porch for a smoke, and at a tap, out comes the Easy Revenge cigarette, showing us that he's truly mourned Himeno, not just with his tears but his actions of opening himself up to others and kicking a guy in the nuts. He savors that cigarette. The movie begins with the next phase in Aki's career. From his conversation with Makima, he learns that he has to prove he deserves a spot in the Gun Devil operation. She assigns him to partner with Angel Devil. While Aki took the first step toward changing, that doesn't mean he's a different person overnight. And the Angel Devil doesn't make it easy either. He's lazy and is more than ready to die himself. Adding more friction to their partnership, Angel refuses, when asked, to get off his ass and help. Even when he has the chance to give a devil hunter a painless death, he leans on, "I'm still a devil, I like human suffering," making Aki have to mercy kill a half-intact man who's begging for death. So they spend a good chunk of the movie in friction, but the kind of friction that can lead to understanding. Once Reza has attacked Denji, and the Angel Devil sees firsthand that Aki isn't the devil-hating hard-ass he's heard of him as, Aki clearly cares for Denji and is trying to save him. Angel slowly starts to help. At first begrudgingly, when he agrees to revive both Beam and Denji in the car, and then actually does so the second time, of his own accord, mercy killing a dying woman to revive them. Lady Reza has the Typhoon Devil helping her fight. The Violence Fiend says the obvious: it's a kaiju fight, they have to hunker down. The storm hits its peak, winds howl, buildings shatter, Aki's barely hanging on. Skin contact with the Angel Devil reduces a human's life. He urges Aki to let him go. He's ready to die. Aki loses his grip. In that moment, we see the sweet allure of letting go. Angel's past rushes to him as he begins to fly away. This is the pivotal moment in Aki's change, the quiet emotional bomb of the movie amidst the howling wind and exploding skies. Aki grabs the Angel Devil's hand, knowing he just shortened his life. Aki pulls him in tight. The Angel Devil asks what the hell he was thinking. Aki says he's tired of watching people die in front of him. If Angel Devil wants to die, he can go do it far, far away. I see the look on his face as one of understanding, that Aki is so emotionally raw and worn down. He's no longer numb, but in that moment, reliving the painful trauma of loss that rushes to the surface from the eternally deep well of grief. While he's in pain, he's also renewed. Denji and Power have shown him that there is life after loved ones die. They've helped him see he doesn't have to live for the dead anymore, so he can't bear to watch people die in front of him, even if that means he'll die sooner. His goal of killing the Gun Devil, if it even is still a goal, is no longer what's driving him. He's living to save Denji and Power, with the time he has left, and in that moment, he's living to save Angel Devil too. The strength in shared grief, a shared home, and a shared life has brought him back to the world of the living. Even though it's brought back the pain of loss, his family, his senpai, he's still, finally, able to stop dying for the dead and start living for the living. Aki's transformation in the first 50 chapters of Chainsaw Man is quiet. We don't have his point of view like we get for Denji, and that's Fujimoto's endless brilliance. He makes us feel the change without ever saying it. He gives us all the pieces to put the puzzle together. We see it in the small, quiet moments, amidst the warring world around him. He chooses life, at his own expense, for the benefit of others. We see it later in the public safety arc, when he tries to pull out of the Gun Devil mission. He doesn't want Power and Denji to die, and he gave his life to try to prevent that from happening. I hope he can hear a requiem in heaven too. If you're still watching, that rules. Thank you. If you like this, then stay tuned for next week's installment of Watch Chainsaw Man with me, and check out the other videos if you haven't yet.